I'll just ask the panelists, from your perspective, what is the most important thing that the policymakers and donors and practitioners can do tomorrow to advance the knowledge sharing infrastructure? Who would like to start? We don't have to go in order.
Doesn't matter. I'll start.
Yeah.
And I'd like to speak to private philanthropies as our peers. And it comes straight from what I was saying before. I think there's this preference, I think, to think about your donations in isolation from everything else that's going on, which is really a pity and sounds bizarre, but it is the case. And sort of, I would say to other funders, think about the environment in which you're funding. There's such a predilection for, investing in operators, in isolation. But think about the connective tissue around you, because if that's a disabling environment, not only is your project not going to succeed, the systems change you aspire to is never going to succeed. And I understand it's, often people say to us, well, you guys have the luxury of like the entire toolkit. And I it's a great privilege, and I know it's not often replicable or scalable, but think about what you can do within the environment rather than funding individual innovation, because I can guarantee you that your individual innovation is not going to make much impact unless you think about the context around it. So it's just really shifting a mind frame and a mindset for investment and funding, and that's what I would suggest people do.
So the call for, I think, global public goods has been made successfully, and I'm so honored that being a commissioner in the Education Commission, the Learning Generation said it. Global Education Monitoring Report said it again, and now we have this report. Now, the question is, again, to be asked for funders, for government, for many stakeholders, are we really investing it right? Keeping in mind the impact that has been shown from what are seen in the criteria of the global public goods. Are we investing with the right partners and networks, really, that are so critical, that are out there, and I think have a mark, and the footprint, can be seen that it is evolving and is likely to expand with those kind of partnerships. And the third aspect is that how do we know that it is right? How do we know whether we are iteratively measuring, refining? Because whatever the innovation is, its great robustness is only when it grows and evolves. And do we see those aspects in that evolution of that innovation, whether it is really growing, whether it is taking advantage not just of the local traditional, which is very critical, the oral, but also of new technologies which really make things go leapfrog. And the kind of work that we are all looking for is, how do we ramp up? How do we look at scale? Because without that, really, we've not got it right. And really, the time is running out. So I think those are like three big things. And even if, like we've made this call for 1 million out-of-school children learning and in school, it is important to be able to be ambitious, to have those calls, and to think in terms of partnerships for making that happen. It's not about one actor.